Welcome to Yoga Teacher Journeys, your podcast for all things yoga and mindful living. I'm Claire.
And I'm Bianca, and we're two yoga teachers sharing the insights and wisdom we've picked up along our journey so far.
Whether you're thinking about teacher training or exploring yoga as a way of life, join us weekly for inspiring conversations.
Let's go on this journey together. Hello again.
Hi.
For another episode. God, the weeks go so fast.
They really do, but it's so nice to reconnect and reflect even on our weeks and the training, really.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful that we have this space that we actually then make sure that we do see each other each week as well. Like, it's important.
Absolutely. I think it
energy
is
flowing, you know.
Yes. And it's great to keep tapping into reflecting on what we learned from the training, and as we are both teaching now, it's good to think about what were the teachings there, how can we translate that onto the mat and with our students as well.
Yeah, because I think, you know, where I am right now, I've been teaching for 2 months and I feel quite at home with that now. And it's crazy when you look back, like, wow. So today we're going to be talking about weeks 2 and weeks 3 of the teacher training. We hadn't taught, I don't think we taught properly by then.
Probably for 5 minutes or something, not fully.
Yeah, and you know, in my mind then I couldn't imagine teaching a full, like even getting any classes, you know. So it's really, actually, when you do this reflection work, it's really great to kind of ground you into what you're doing now. This is what we once wanted.
That's true. And it's really important to take the time to reflect on the wins, right? Because people are always looking forward and we're trying to be present, but also just acknowledge that at one point in our lives we really wanted to be here, and now we are here.
Now we're here.
Enjoy it.
And this is it, like, yeah, it's about intentionally slowing down so you can really notice these things. It's really beautiful. So Claire, let's take it back. Week 2 and week 3. I think for me, weeks 2 and week 3, that was when all the emotion, even more emotion, not the emotion, there was emotion the whole way through, but weeks 2 and 3 were particularly, there was a lot.
There was a lot, and that's where the hard work was put in, right? Because week 4 is all your assessments and stuff. So 2 and 3 is where we learned the bulk of how to be teachers. So let's try and look back. How
I think it started with a sharing circle. Was there a sharing circle? And it was a really emotional, I remember it was like a really, really emotional. The second sharing circle that we had was very deep. Was that week 2?
That was end of week 2.
End of week 2. Well, it was, I remember sitting in and there was so much energy in that circle, and so much had come to the surface from the previous couple of weeks, hadn't it? And I remember that there was a lot of emotion.
Absolutely. So I think we did a sharing circle at the beginning, and then we did it halfway through and at the end. Yeah. I think halfway through is very powerful because we've all got to know each other. We are starting to reflect on what have we learned in the past 2 weeks. And I think it's interesting. You put a group of people into a course or a group to spend 24/7 with each other, things are going to come up. No matter if you're yogis or I think at the end of the day, we're human. And so there were emotions running high, but I think things were dealt with respect and level of understanding of each other. And again, it's part of the growing process.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's working through those things, using some of the yoga philosophy as well. We'd had there'd been a lot of depth in that way as well. So to actually put that perspective onto our real life was like, oh wow, like these tools actually, it makes sense.
Absolutely. And for me, one of those things is that I keep reminding myself is whenever you feel an emotion, observing that emotion, accepting that it's there, feeling it, but not letting it consume you, not letting the emotion take control of yourself. And I think that's so powerful because so many of us, we can just get stuck into the emotion. Yes, it's important to feel it, go through it, but not let it hold on to you,
Don't
and
become it. Yeah.
don't become it, become the emotion. Yeah. And so I think applying that is hard,
Yes.
but
So
it's
hard.
yeah,
And
something.
I think for me, week 2, I think the overall feelings that week, wow, like we've still got, this is going to be it felt like the course was going to be so long, didn't it? At the end of the first week, we were all exhausted, right? We had that Sunday off. I think I went to the beach and I was like, I don't want to see anyone from the course. I think I just need some time with myself. And then we started back with week 2 and it felt like it was going to be never ending.
Yeah. Yeah. They were very long days. But I think so. What was really great though about week 2 is starting to teach a little bit more. We started with our sun salutations and just even things like saying, and we talked about it before, but the breath, the movement, and then the deepening cues and stuff. And it was just trying to practice that over and over again. We were really just becoming teachers.
Mm-hmm.
It was teachers in the making. And it was really fun when we would be doing things as a group and we started to give each other adjustments, understanding the different layers of touch. I think that was really interesting.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Yeah. What else do you remember?
So from week number 2, was that when we had the kirtan?
Yes.
I
Yes,
have
yes,
a
yes.
photo, I think, of us all on the floor.
That kirtan
Yeah,
session.
we had a
Yeah,
couple of workshops, didn't we?
did. And the kirtan was so powerful. So kirtan, for anyone who doesn't know, is singing to the different deities, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's more, obviously it's that, but to us it was more than that. It's bringing us all together,
It was
feeling the
connection, wasn't it? It was the
connection,
vibration. Yeah.
vibrations
It's like music meditation,
in a
basically.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what was so interesting? I now remember week 2, I got sick and I lost my voice. Like I felt like I was really struggling to speak. And some of the feedback that I had received so far from my teaching was that people really enjoyed the tone of my voice when I was teaching. And I felt like the universe was giving me this extra challenge of like almost taking away my voice, and having to figure out what else do I bring to the table apart from that. And I remember being really frustrated during Kirtan because I felt like I couldn't sing like I wanted to sing. I really enjoy singing. I find it very therapeutic, and I tried as much as I could, but I also felt like my voice sounded probably horrendous, and it was a bit painful to do so. And I remember it was so strange. Like at the end of the kirtan, someone on the training came up to me. She was like, "Oh, you have such a lovely voice when you sing." I just thought this is so bizarre because I can barely speak right now. But it was so powerful. Everyone was crying at the end of Kirtan.
It was quite like, I remember the feeling. It's quite overwhelming, isn't it? Like, because that's
Yeah.
like pure connection, like
Feel
pure
connected.
love.
And because we were like bonding in this space with the training, it felt a lot more powerful. Like we went to other kirtans within the community on the island on other days, and it wasn't the same. It was great, but that sense of bonding together didn't feel the same.
No. Yeah, it was beautiful, wasn't it though? I really, was that on a Friday night?
I think it was a
I can't remember.
Thursday. It was
Thursday, okay, yeah. I mean, all
yeah,
the days kind of rolled into one because again, we were doing 6 days, so it was a lot. It was a really long week, wasn't it? That week 2, I remember being like, wow, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, and every night it was kind of like, right, so tomorrow you're going to teach a sequence, and it's like, right, so then in the evenings you'd be like studying, I've got some like videos of practicing in the shala with a couple of the girls, like
Yep.
there was a lot to do outside of the lessons.
Absolutely. And not only that, but starting to learn like for our exams, our written exams. So like the philosophy, the anatomy.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person with my learning that I need a lot of time. So I can't cram things in at the last minute. So I spent a lot of time already starting to make notes, to assimilate, to read over concepts and things. So it was very much a process. Yeah, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, that was. I remember that in the evenings, and I was still working at this point as well.
Oh
So
goodness, yeah. I
I
don't
was
know how
having
you managed.
clients, and I was like, right, where am I going to do this sequence? Because I've got clients and trying to juggle it all. Like it was jam-packed. I remember my screen time on my phone was like nothing. Like there was no time for scrolling on Instagram.
No, that's true. The first few weeks I didn't. No, I didn't. Through
So
the training,
nice.
I didn't
So
have
nice.
time.
No,
Yeah,
none of that. None of
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
that was really, yeah, weeks 2 and weeks 3, there was, yeah, so we were teaching, were there some like practice, like little practice exams that we did with
Yep.
anatomy? We kind of did them every session, didn't we?
Yeah, we had practice exams. We also had an Ayurvedic talk.
Yeah, the workshop, that was brilliant. I've been learning a bit more about that since the training. Yeah, it's really, I'd like to learn even more. Like
Mm.
Ayurveda is, it really aligns. It's one of those holistic approaches that really aligns. Like it just makes sense. It makes total sense. So we did that one evening as well. There was option for meditation in the evening, wasn't there, as well, if we wanted it?
Yeah, did you go to any of those?
One of them, yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I went to one of them. Very nice to do something
Mm,
before bed,
yeah,
but I just felt our days were so long. It was just a bit too much. I
yeah.
just couldn't do it.
Was a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So then, yeah, week 3, again, I think the time we were then teaching like a half an hour sequence or something like that, weren't we? And then I remember Kat was coming around and everyone was quite nervous.
Everyone was quite nervous, and I think practice so much. So everyone took it all very seriously, especially ahead of the exams, the practicums where we taught for an hour, and people worked really hard for those. And I think it was a challenge to keep like doing the sequence, but it was so wonderful because we would be in groups of 3, I remember, and you would teach your part of the sequence. Oh, what was really smart as well is that basically throughout the month they made us build up to an entire class. So
Mhm.
effectively, if you wanted to, you could arrive in week 4 and just take every part that you had already done into a
Yeah.
class if you wanted to. The other thing that we did was the pranayama, the breath work
Yeah, I
practices,
love
and
that.
practicing teaching each other. That was hard. That was
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah. And I resonate with that a lot now because in my practices when I'm teaching, breathwork is one of the key components, and I make sure to include that in every class here, whether it's a vinyasa or a hatha, because it's just so powerful.
Mhm.
But it is one of those things that's quite hard to teach, I find.
I mean, I have my go-tos,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But I always make sure I get a pranayama in there. Like it's, my class is over here an hour and 15, so I have time.
Oh,
Um,
that's good.
if the
Yeah.
class is only an hour, like sometimes you're a little bit pushed for it, but
True.
yeah, that was really cool.
What are your go-tos?
So box breath or the alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana, I love.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they're my kind of the go-tos. I do really like the humming bee.
Yeah, I love
Um,
humming
yeah,
Yeah.
but I haven't actually taught that one yet. Have you?
No, I haven't. I did Kapalabhati yesterday. I've
Oh,
done
did you?
Bhastrika.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nadi Shodhana
Yeah,
and
Nadi.
you want to start with the more accessible ones, I think,
Yeah.
and then also as you create a group of people who are more used to your classes, then you can sort of start to, I
Yeah.
think, build
And we were
upon that.
doing a lot of chanting. Do you remember all the
I
chanting we
miss
were
all the
doing?
chanting.
Oh, so do I, because I don't do that. Like I'd love to get an on, but it's not
I
really.
know what you mean. Last night, like I wanted to get an almond, but the energy in the room, I just didn't feel it. But I think we'll get there. Again, I
Yeah.
feel like as I build the rapport and the trust, I think there was a lot of trust to be built, right?
Mm.
With the students, then hopefully we can get there.
Gosh. I remember the weekends, there was a bit more socializing going on these 2 weeks. We went to that rooftop place. There was a rooftop bar that we all went to. I think we had a beach trip one of the weekends as well. It was really, I think before the week of the practicum, so before week 4, we did a little bit more socializing together because I guess the connections and the bonding had deepened over time, hadn't it? And we were kind of settling in, and so that was really nice.
Absolutely. No, it was lovely. So there was a lot more of that. A couple of us also enjoyed going to the ice baths near the training. That was really good because we were so sore. But no, it was really fun, and watching the sunsets together. People
Yeah,
started to connect
the
more, going for
sunset.
sunset walks.
I mean, the sunsets over there, 10 out of 10. They were beautiful, weren't they?
Most beautiful I've seen
Coconut,
in my 4 months of traveling. Yeah.
yeah. Coconut and the sunset was like the way to end the day. So like overall, I think weeks 2 and weeks 3, as much as there was a lot to do outside of the sessions, there was a lot more connecting going on, and the support between us was really, it was deep. Like it was there, and we were all kind of taking it in turns to fall apart and lose our shit and then come back together again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way that we were kind of learning between weeks one, the difference between week 1 and week 3 was just crazy. Every day you're learning new asana, and then you're putting them together, then you've got a sequence, then you're teaching it, and there's no hanging about. Like
No.
it's right, you're doing this tomorrow, and it's like, whoa, okay.
And there's as I was going to say, there was a lot of growth. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of growth in a short space of time, if you think about it, really. But also it's great because you're building momentum on the previous day, the previous week. And I think it must be so special as a teacher to come to the end of the month and see how much everyone progressed from that
Grown and
first week.
evolved.
I
Yeah,
know, it's so
beautiful.
nice. So beautiful.
Yeah, and I really like the weeks 2 and weeks 3. Yeah, it was kind of like you're settling. You know, you've got an exam in week 4, but it's kind of like we're learning. It's feeling okay. And then yeah, week 4 was a totally different energy, and we can talk about that in the next pod.
Yes, I think week 4 deserves its own
Yeah.
its own
Oh,
conversation.
yeah. My God. But I mean, all of it. I mean, it was a full-on journey.
An absolute journey, yes, but what a beautiful journey, and I think amazing that we were able to experience that in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. So yeah, anything more on weeks 2 and weeks 3?
I'm trying to think back. I feel like there must have been more.
Cake shop, definitely the cake shop. We went to the cake shop a few times. I've got some
Yes.
photos of that soft chocolate cake. Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that was really good. That cake shop
That
was
cake shop.
yeah, so we would obviously, so we had our breakfast and our lunch included with
Yeah.
the training, but in the evenings it was up to you what you wanted to do. And I think a lot of us ended up in the vegan cake shop, sharing a slice of cake and a coconut as well, which is
Oh,
really nice. Oh yes, we did brunch all together, didn't we?
yeah.
That was so nice.
That was really nice. And then we went to the beach. Yeah, that was so much. Gosh.
So many things. I think what was quite special as well, and that I really enjoyed in weeks 2 and 3 was whenever we would go through a specific asana, we would go through what does it look like depending on your body type. So whether
Yes.
you're more naturally flexible or perhaps less flexible,
Mhm.
and then just to say that that's absolutely fine. There is no right way to be, and every asana can be adapted to that to an individual. And
Yeah.
so I think it was really great for me to reinforce that because although I knew always deep down in the philosophy, yoga's for everyone, it doesn't matter. I did feel sometimes some frustrations in some of the classes where I felt like my lack of flexibility was almost perhaps a hindrance to the practice, and really reinforcing that and being okay with that was something that I really like focused on and went through in those 2 weeks.
And I loved all the demonstrations and the adjustments and everything that we did. Because I remember there was one, was it an anatomy lesson where we're in downward facing dog? And for me, my ankle, I haven't got the range of motion in my ankle. And even if I was to keep doing it, it's just not going to happen. It's like bone on bone. Like it can't go any further. Yeah, you have to really take that into account when you're teaching yoga class. So some people can't get into postures because their arms are too short. Like, do you know what I mean? So,
No, exactly. And there's
yeah,
nothing you can do. And
there's
that's
nothing
fine.
you
You
can do.
just find the adaptation for
Mm.
yourself. And I think that's the thing. You always have to keep thinking it's your own practice, and never really forget that. But it can be difficult because sometimes you can lose sight of it. So learning about that was really great. And I really enjoyed those anatomy classes as well between tension and what was it, flexion? I can't remember now. Yes, I think.
Tension and what was the other word?
Is it? I can't remember. We'll have to look it
Let's
up.
get our books out again. And again, I think it's great to do that, you know. Oh, it was such a wholesome time though. I just remember by the end of the day, when we had yoga in the afternoon, we
Yes.
needed a long shavasana.
Oh yeah, the 20-minute shavasana.
Yeah, little power nap. I
That
mean,
was
there was
so
definitely
good.
some snoring going on.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Gosh. But yeah, no, I think that's a good roundup. What
Yep.
do you say?
Yeah, no, definitely. So no, yeah, week 2s and 3, really where all the learning's happening. It
It's building
was
day by day, and it's like enough of a stretch each day.
enough of a stretch each day. I mean, one yoga again really knows kind of how much to stretch you each day, and I think that was really good. It made us all amazing teachers.
Yay. So right, next pod, we're going to talk about week 4, which was the week. It was a big week. It was a totally different energy. So we'll save that for another time. But thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. See you next time.